starting up. All right. By a show of hands, who likes carving jack-o'-lanterns with pumpkins? A lot of you. Yeah, it's a lot of fun going to the store, get the pumpkin, bringing it home, carving a goofy, silly face with the family, you know, cleaning all the gooey stuff. All right. With a show of hands, who likes having pumpkin pie for dessert around the holidays, on Thanksgiving? Yeah, it's yummy stuff. I like that too. So, this time with a show of hands, who, and don't shout it out loud, but who can explain the entire life cycle of a pumpkin from beginning to end? There's a couple of us, because we've been to a couple farm visits, but not as many people as carve the pumpkins or have the pie. So, that's what I'm here today to share. And my presentation is called The Life of a Pumpkin. Here's a cute little pumpkin right there for you guys. So seeds are how the pumpkins start out. Seeds the most basic portion of the pumpkin, and it grows into a big squash. So from seed to squash, it takes approximately 150 days to mature. So if we think about that, in a year there's only 365 days. So the pumpkins that you guys are, having for dessert or carving for Halloween take almost half a year to grow from seed to squash. So there's a lot of time, a lot of hard work, a lot of pride going into the farmers that grow these pumpkins for us. And it's a pretty long, intensive process, and I'll try to break it down for you guys. So I heard you guys were studying living things. This is perfect because pumpkins are just that. They are a living thing. Miss Buchanan was telling me that you guys may or may not experiment in the future with planting your own pumpkins. So, yeah. So I hope this presentation helps you guys out, and you can think of me while you're doing it if you get stuck on anything. So, pumpkins can be planted in the ground or in a pot, as long as you have soil that's accommodating for the pumpkin. It needs to be rich with minerals and vitamins, and pumpkins usually like a lot of sun and a lot of water to grow big and healthy. The proper way to plant pumpkins is to collect a bundle of pumpkin seeds. You dig about 1 inch down into the soil, and you put them down in a little pile, or what they call pumpkin hills. And you put them down in this little pile. And it's a good idea to plant multiple if you can, because not every pile will take. But you plant your little pumpkin hill, you cover it up with soil, and like I said before, you add water, sunshine, and make sure that your soil isn't just some mucky mud, but it has some vitamins, minerals, it has that nice stuff that your mom and dad used to plant in the garden. And hopefully you will have your pumpkin growing. So around day 14 to 21, so 2 to 3 weeks in, you'll see the first kind of sprout of life from the pumpkin. Out of the soil, you'll see a nice little green stem and a couple of leaves, just like this guy right here. This is James' pumpkin. He was pretty happy with the growth rate of that. And at this point, it's the same process really. It needs lots of soil, lots of water, lots of sunshine. And pumpkins really thrive in environments that aren't chilly. So places that get cold and icy during the wintertime don't necessarily grow pumpkins as well as a place like California. It does get a little icy, but all in all, it's a lot warmer. So it is a good climate to grow them. That's why we have such great pumpkin farms. I'm sure you've all been there for pumpkin patches. I've taken a couple of you in the past. So day 30, so about a month in, vine formation. The little sprouts collect and multiply, and the vine just starts growing longer and longer. This vine's grown so long that it went right up this fence here, and it just kept going. At this point, the pumpkin vine is very nutrient greedy. What that means is if there's any weeds nearby that are in the soil, in the dirt, it's going to take away all the necessary nutrients, or what we call food, for the pumpkin. And so it's really important to pull away any of those extra weeds. One, not just because they look, not as pretty because they're weeds, but two, because it'll actually help the pumpkin grow. So that's what it looks like in about a month. So through days 65 and 70, the vines will actually sprout these beautiful five-sided yellow flowers. And this is a really important time for the pumpkin, because in this 5-day period, the bees, like this guy right here, have to go and actually pollinate. They put this thing called pollen, which actually fertilizes the flower, and it gives it the ability to grow into a pumpkin. There are two different kinds of flowers. There's the male and female. They look exactly the same, but only the female can actually grow into a pumpkin. So, within this 5-day period, the female flowers must get fertilized, or we will just have a pretty little yellow flower, and then after that it'll fall off and the vine will be no more. It'll never produce pumpkins. So, when we think of bees, it's kind of scary to think of them because I don't like getting stung by bees, right? I don't know if anybody's allergic. Is anybody allergic to bees? Maybe, maybe not. So, bees aren't all bad. They make honey, for one, and for two, they pollinate all of our plants and things like that. So, they play an important role. So, days 90 through 100, this is a lot of days. It's about a third of a year. Your stem is a little bit thicker, strong, and moist. You have a nice spherical green pumpkin. It's going to be a little bit softer than the pumpkins we see in the grocery stores. It's going to be a little bit smaller, and obviously it's green, right? It's not orange. So those are the main differences at this point. But again, you can see that there's a little bit of brush going on around this pumpkin. This is another crucial part where adding extra soil, taking out those extra weeds, and giving it sun and enough water will really, really make your pumpkin grow to its potential. So, we're almost done with our pumpkin. So, in about another 50 days or so, somewhere around 40 to 50, you will have a finished pumpkin. It'll be nice, plump, and orange. The stems will kind of dry up and twist, and they'll break off from the stem. And the farmers will come by and kind of just clean those up. The outer shell will harden, and the farmers will sell them to the stores, and Mom and Dad can come buy them, and we can carve faces in them, and we can make pumpkin pie with them, and we have our pumpkins. So that's pretty much my presentation on the life of a pumpkin. Thank you for sharing. I'm going to record you guys real quick with my camera. I'll have you wave to my teacher. Okay. Good morning, Mrs. Buchanan's class.
Good morning.
Did you like the presentation of the pumpkins?
Yes.
Thank you very much for listening.